there, to be exposed to something you're afraid of often means to reconfigure your own preconceptions, because if you're afraid of something, it usually means that you've coded it or understand it in a certain way. And so that when you encounter it, not only do you have to learn something new, but you also have to let go of your old presuppositions. Maybe that's what you do, for example, if you overcome some kind of prejudice that you might have to people or things or places, because you don't approach the object that you're afraid of in a conceptual vacuum. You have presuppositions. And what that also implies is that when you're learning, even when you're learning incrementally, there's a process of letting go and a process of building. So when you learn something new, you have to let go of an old presupposition of some sort. And those presuppositions are alive because they're part of you. And part of what that means is that every element of learning in the face of something novel is often also an undoing of previous learning. And that's partly why the motif of death and rebirth is such a powerful one throughout human history. It's a primary motive of human, what would you call it, of the human story. It's certainly of human mythology. And the experiences that people have in psychotherapy are often similar to death and rebirth experiences, in part because they come in damaged and fragmented and hurt, and often have to encounter even more of the material that caused them trouble to begin with. But the consequence of that is that they can shake the structures that are inhibiting their further development, even though that might cause some pain, and then hopefully they can come back alive. And you know that when you encounter something that's truly unknown, you go through a process that's similar to that too. In that if you've ever been in a situation, for example, where you deeply desired something, but you failed to get it for one reason or another, there's a tremendous amount of pain associated with that. That could be a person or a goal or a dream or something like that. It's extraordinarily painful not to be able to attain a valued goal, and the failure generally literally produces pain. It's cognitive pain, but many of the same pathways are involved. And when you have to give up something that you value, you're giving up a part of yourself, the part of yourself that's predicated on that vision. And not only is that painful, but it can really throw you for a loop. The phenomena that we're going to talk about today are representations of that process, as well as attempts to experiment with it, because people have known for a very, very long time that there was something about partial death and rebirth that was also akin to the revivification of the human spirit, and that's knowledge that human beings have had for, we really don't know how long. It's certainly tens of thousands of years, and it might be longer than that. So that's what we're going to talk about today.